Okay, so Fiori, what exactly is SAP Fiori is what we need to understand. So SAP Fiori is a front-end tool which actually takes care of the front-end. What we look on the screen is what we maintain through Fiori. Let me tell you that this is a part of user experience. That's the reason it's called UX. UX stands for user experience. And in this, like, so is my voice audible? Or you want me to be a bit louder? Okay, so everything that we do is what we are going to figure it out. The technology which we do it. So it's Fiori is all about the front end. And one more thing is like there was a concept called UI5. There's a concept called UI5. So UI5 is something which was an open platform. Later SAP acquired that and they renamed it as SAP UI5. Even now, if you Google, if you go to Google and type UI5, you'll get a normal UI5 platform, which is an open platform. Anybody can use it. But then SAP UI5 is a combination of such few tools, few applications, which is a part of only SAP UI5, which has to be purchased, and it's a closed one. It's not an open network. And now SAP UI5, in the SAP UI5, there is a kind of a fixed kind of applications which is called Fiori. Fiori is more of a pre-built kind of applications, and you can also build a few applications. But if you would like to build a few applications in the Fiori, you're going to go back to UI5 and do that. So now you can actually understand Fiori as a subset of the UI5 concept. Subset of SAP UI5 is Fiori. And we need to understand the architecture, configuration, content administration, adaptation, mobility, integration, all these things we need to understand this. So we'll be exploring the Fiori design, how it looks like, exploring Fiori Launchpad, personalizing the SAP Fiori, and exploring the data handling. So here we have this Fiori design. So in the Fiori design, we have the principles, design, and concept is what we're going to see at. So this is how it looks like. So Fiori application is a front-end application, and it is designed in such a way that it will actually it will adjust its UI based on the front-end screen that we have. For example, if it's a mobile phone, so it is smartphone which it is accommodating the page, it is adjusting and redesigning the page dynamically for the mobile phones. And for tablets, it's a different format, and for the desktops or laptops, we have a different format. This is how we have it. So if you observe here, like in the past, we used to pick kind of a design wherein you have to open that design in the say portal or something. You have to just move left, move right, move up, and then you can see that entire screen. But now Fiori is designed in such a way that it can fit into any of the devices, front-end devices. So the Fiori dimensions will have role-based concepts, adaptive concept, coherent, simple, and delightful concepts. So we can choose a concept, accordingly we can present the data. For example, if it's a role-based concept, like we can design a page and we can allow only the HR department can see this data, or we can design this only simple design can be done here. Yes. If you talk about the three layers like database layer, application layer, and presentation layer, the Fiori completely comes onto the front end presentation layer. Okay, you're right. So now we have the adaptive, coherent, simple, delightful, and we have designs like visual design, information architecture, and interaction patterns. So these all are based on how do we actually show the data, to whom do we show the data, and what amount of data needs to be shown. There might be security levels, like same report can be opened by manager. He sees additional column of salaries, but if the same thing is done by the all the employees, that salary details will not be seen. Okay, so these things can be done. It's all role based and adaptive. Like as we see, manager is able to see one kind of data, and the employees are able to see the data, but the report is same. That is role based. Adaptive is like, it is getting adapted to any kind of a device that we are using. If it's a laptop, desktop, mobile, or or a, say, tablet, it actually it accustoms to it. Coherent. We can make this data parallelly available. Like, you can do the comparison of one, say, Bangalore office with Hyderabad office. These all things can be done parallelly, and we can see it coherent. And simple, very simple data, simple designs can be done, and it is very delightful as well. Now here we have the Fiori design guidelines. So there are some guidelines that we have here for design. They are like discover, design, and deliver. So these are the three principles on which they have built the entire Fiori application. We basically build everything in the SAP, and then we just deliver it and see that on the web IDE. So web IDE is mostly on the delivery side. Then we have the business application studio, screen personas, UI themes, SAP Fiori Launchpad. All these things are the part of this entire thing. But you need to remember these three D's. D3. D3 means discover, design, and deliver. D3 stands for discover, design, and deliver. So for this each step we have some, again, sub steps we have. For discover we have scope, 360-degree research, synthesize. These all come under the discover. And then ideate, prototype, validate. This all come under the designate, design. And develop, test, and deploy come under the deliver. So there are like so role based, as you already understood, like, designed for you, your needs, and how you work. So each person has a different report to be shown. Adaptive, it adapts to multiple use cases and devices. Coherent provides one fluid intuitive experience. Simple, includes only what is necessary, makes an emotional connection. So it's like the look and feel is very good, like, so something like that. So it will be very delightful to see. So in a classic UI, the front-end tool that we have here looks something like this. And there are a lot of people who are actually trying to access the same screen, and it looks pretty same for all the users. And then we have, that from there we have come to a place where like multiple entry points for the user. So we had, if you see, you have logged into SAP UI, SAP GUI, and SAP Fiori with same login IDs, but a different entry point. Those two have a different entry point. So how did you log into a Fiori? Through this browser, Chrome. Okay, so you can also do it from Microsoft browser as well. So these are the things. But when it comes to the Fiori, the same person can actually see the applications in a different way. Like different teams can see that same application in a different way. So for example, if a CEO is checking out the data, it should be on a very high level. Okay, what exactly is happening in the entire organization. But for a manager, it should be a detailed, for just because we have a very small, very small, team. So in that way, and one entry point for the user. So one person can enter into one login, and they can access multiple things. So if you observe in Fiori, we have some boxes kind of a thing. So all those boxes are the applications. So once we fit in the applications there, it can be accessed by anyone. So Fiori actually started its journey from 2013. 2013 it was first introduced by SAP, and 25 most frequently used applications were only developed. As I told you, the basic principles happens to be on the UI platform itself. So if you have to design Fiori applications, you have to go back to UI, and most probably you should be good in Java to design all those things. But when it comes to using it, anybody can use it. It's very user friendly, and anybody can learn it very fast. So then we have S4 HANA 1610. That's when Fiori 2.0 came in, and then Fiori 3.0 came in 2018. And this is SAP Cloud Platform and conversational AI. So we have artificial intelligence being integrated with this in 2018 with the Fiori 3 and Fiori. So you basically can open a Fiori application, open a particular application in that in that Fiori. You can open one particular application and actually switch on all the machinery in your organization with one click. And how is it been done? Actually through Internet of Things. And then we have again artificial intelligence, which actually tells us what should be our decision. It helps us to take decisions in a better way. So that's how we actually do that. And we are mostly using this AI related theory applications on the for analytics, for analyzing the future and deciding the future. How would it be? So what would be the possible scenarios if, let's say, if artificial intelligence has already been integrated with theory, so if you can just try to analyze like what will happen if uh, COVID wave 3 also comes in, wave 4 comes into picture. So if wave 4 is very serious, how would be the scenarios? What would be the consequences? How do we actually take the actions for the organization? How do we save the organization? These all things can be given, can be clearly seen on the theory application, which has actually been integrated with AI. So Theory 2.0 to Theory 3.0, we have S4 HANA is being integrated, Qualtrics is being integrated, Analytics Cloud is integrated, Fieldglass, SuccessFactors, Concur, these all were acquired by SAP. So Qualtrics, Fieldglass, Concur and Ariba, what we see on the top are all being acquired by SAP and they are integrated into SAP now. Even SuccessFactors also was acquired by SAP from outside. Business Technology Platform is something which SAP has developed also on its own. It's called BTP platform. So we also can learn how to log in into BTP and start working on it. So when we launch the BTP platform and start working on it, it can be actually used to access everything. Like if you have a server from the BTP frontend, this BTP frontend will go open in the browser directly, and you don't have to install anything here unless and until you have to design something on the application level, in the ABAP level. So we have all these things like Analytics Cloud, SuccessFactors, and all these things are integrated into the SAP Fiori 3.0. They've been in the past, and now they are all available, and you can get the data or reports based on all these applications. So Fiori 3.0 is a very advanced one. We had a lot of drawbacks in the Fiori 1.0, 2.0. Those are all completely taken care in the 3.0, wherein we have the harmonized design, structure, content, grid, conversational AI. These all things are being taken care in the Fiori 3.0. So the conversational AI actually connects content and services from different products. This is what we can do. So we have an intelligent enterprise right now. So all the organizations are moving ahead to intelligence enterprise. So we have all these been integrated with the ERP, but that ERP is now has upgraded to intelligent ERP. So in intelligent ERP, what happens here is that we have lead to cash, source to pay, recruit to retire, and design to operate. These all things are been pre-built. For example, lead to cash actually takes care of marketing to finance. Source to pay leads from the for example HR to the employment. Recruit to retire. This is also a HR tool. The design to operate is to manufacture. So these all things are being inbuilt in this intelligent enterprise. So these again, see, previously we used to have only application for sales and distribution, but now we have a complete full-fledged application for lead to cash. So we have multiple times of is the organizations who have implemented intelligent enterprise have seen that they have multiple fold of development and business improvement actually. So now let's say we have, this is how it looks like Fiori application. You might have already logged in and you could have seen this. So we have the finance, human resources, sales, and procurement, and all these things are into one particular application. We have this. So we have various applications can be actually seen at the same level. So we can go for user preferences. You can go on top to the your login ID. Click on that, and you can actually user preferences. You can click on user preferences, and you can actually do the personalization. Personalization in the sense like you want to change the color, you want to change the tile size, you want to change something. You can do all these things by this personalization. So this is how we have the Fiori 2.0 viewpoint. This is how it looks like. So in case if you want the application app icon display like a big one, you can also do that. Double size. So in Fiori 3.0, we have various applications like this. We can also integrate inbox. There are a lot of things that can be integrated here into the 3.0, which was not possible in the 2.0. As I told you, SuccessFactors, Ariba, Concur, Hybris, and these all things are already been integrated into Field Class also. Recently, Field Class also is acquired by SAP, and that is also we can integrate it with Fiori. So Fiori Launchpad, you see this, we have you can actually change that to dark mode. So when you go to the preferences or settings, in the settings, if you go to the top, select your name, click on the login name on the top right side, and go for the settings. And in the settings, you can change it to black color mode. So we have user actions, edit home page. You can change the home page, you can modify it and all. So these are you can add tags for a click. So you can create an application and you can add a tag. The moment you click on that application, automatically that web page opens. So you can just link that application to a web page. You can also click on that. When the user clicks on application, what should happen is something which you can build in the backend in the Fiori application. So we have a manage banks. Let's take this example. So manage banks, when you see when for example, if somebody clicks on a particular to like a purchase order. So if you click on purchase order, it actually has to go and check with the manage bank. So that when you're purchasing, you should be also able to pay. So that link has to be there. And these things can be done through the keyboard navigation. So what happens here is like they actually tag this application with some link. So the moment I click, that link opens in another page. Here you can try it out. And Fiori application can be seen on any of the web browsers. You can open the Fiori clients from business client or mobile stack as well. So if you install SAP Mobile Start in your Android phone, you can just type in the Google Play Store. You can just type SAP Mobile Start, and you can actually install that. The challenge here would be, once you install it, you should be able to connect to that particular system, like the backend system. That's very important. So you have to connect to the server. If the server is not connected, then you cannot work on it. So we have the SAP Fiori integration. It can be done through the Launchpad service, enterprise portal, mobile services. All these are like the front-end tools that we have from where we can access this data. So we have this SAP Fiori Launchpad URL. So this is the URL. So this URL can be actually linked to an application. So when you click on when you click on that URL, automatically this gets open. Okay, so next. So here we have the Fiori Launchpad. So when you do it from Fiori Launchpad, you can actually you can give that link and all, and you can connect to that application. So this is mobile start actually. So mobile start is basically for accessing it from your mobiles. So you can basically access this file, and you can go for the start. You can also access it from the smartphones as well. So these are all the various applications from where we can start the mobile start. So mobile start helps us to connect to our backend SAP system through our application. So you can actually install the Google Play Store. From the Google Play Store, we can install the application, and then we can connect to the server, and then we can start building the applications on this and access the applications also from there. Okay, so now here, okay, so we have this elements of personalization. So we can go for elements of personalization. We can go for tiles. We can change the tiles, how it looks like. As I told you, the tiles can be increased to double the size, and you have a kind of a standard size to the tiles, and then you can actually customize them using this catalogs and groups. You can segregate that, so couple of groups, couple of tiles can be kept in one group. This is something which you can do. So now you can actually find the app. Okay, so you can do the personalization. For example, like you open that Fiori application, you'll have this plus symbol when you are going for add. So for example, this is a group. Okay, so you're adding some applications, so you have to search for the application here, app finder, and if already that application is there, you can just select that and it will be added into this group. So you're actually basically grouping that tiles. This is all possible here. This is basically what we can do is you can actually build an application, and you can design it in such a way that when you click on that application, automatically SCA38. SCA38 is for directly execution of program. SCA38 is to actually write the program and execute, right? In SCA38 you can only execute, you cannot write the program. So if you want to directly execute a program, you can go for SCA38. So sometimes in some systems you will not be having the access to SC38. Then you can directly go to SC38 and you can see that you can execute the program and see. The documentation also we can maintain. So data interaction, this is the data which we have here. So we have kind of a, this is an entry point where you can see this. Your actual entry point screen will look like this. When you click on a particular page, it actually shows you a domain. And in the domain, if you want to see furthermore, it will show you the details. This is the flow of the data that we have here. So this is an detailed page, overview page, wherein we can see the diagrams, flowcharts and all. So when you click on a particular thing like analytical, we have a list card and all. So you can click on a particular object and you can get the object page here. So we are clicking on a particular value here, and then you will be getting this object page here. So we can actually search for Fiori applications. On top right, you will see the screen. You will see the search button on the top right after logging into SAP Fiori application. There you have to click on this all, and then you get this details of all the applications. You can create a new application as well. This is what we have here. Search result filtering. This is data driven navigation. So this is data driven navigation. If you click on something, it will actually fetch the data from the SAP system, SAP server, obviously. So you can create the server files. So as I told you, UI technologies, UI stands for user interface. So when you type UI5, UI5 is an open platform, but then it was acquired by SAP and it is now renamed as SAP UI5. Having said that, they have not taken away the UI5 open platform. They still kept it like that, and then they have their own SAP UI5 developed on the same concepts. As I told you, SAP UI5 is a paid software, but simply UI5 is an open platform. SAP acquired a lot of open platforms, and then they merged into SAP, and then they use it whenever you want, whatever you want. And at any given point of time, they can also remove the open platform as well. It's up to them. So this is UI theme designer. We have all these options here. We have application server ABAP, on which we have the classical screens. We first had the classical screens, then we had the web dynpros. Web dynpros are not much in use unless and until you are working on some kind of a support project or something. But most of the times it will always be it will always be the SAP UI5 which we are going to use now in the coming future as well. So we have the SAP BIS. Okay, we have got this SAP screen, personas, workbench, logon, and all these things. So from logon, SAP logon, we were able to see the classical screens, but from now we have the web browser or SAP business client. So even in the latest Fiori 3.0, they have made it completely compatible with the any browser. You can log in into any browser, and I can access the Fiori application. But previously we had to mandatorily install SAP Business Client. Just like we have SAP Logon Pad, we had SAP Business Client. But now it's made very open. So you can access SAP Fiori user experience technologies from any of the web applications, HTML, UI5, and SAP Business Studio. We can use any of these web applications. We have native mobile, like you can have an application being installed or launched into Android, Java, Android Studio, iOS, Swift, Apple Xcode. So it can integrate with everything. Conversational AI, SAP CAI, skills. It can integrate with everything. Okay. So we can browse it from any of the browser, and we can have this hypertext language. Any hypertext language can be used. HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript, jQuery. So in certain scenarios, we need this JavaScript. So if to view the data, sometimes you also have to install SAP UI Development Toolkit, which also has this JavaScript as well. So sometimes it's for viewing some web pages. So sometimes you might have observed that in websites also, some websites will not open in your system, and it says it's mandatory to install a particular software, only then it will open, because that supports it. So similarly here, some of the Fiori applications, we need HTML5 being installed, and JavaScripts also being installed, only then it will work. So we have more. This is MVC control architecture, so model view controlling architecture, which actually has this updates, notifies, user actions, everything is integrated into it. So this is a SAP UI5 version overview. So SAP UI5 is actually a software on which these Fiori applications have been designed. So you can go ahead and check this in the SAP UI5.hana.ondemand.com/version overview.html. So if you type this in the portal, in the website, it will give you all the details of the version of the HTML, the SAP UI5 in the latest one, which you can download and you can start using it. So SAP UI5 development toolkits, like we need to have this SAP Web IDE full stack, in which we have, if you observe, this SAP BTP is an open platform. So we'll understand more in detail about the SAP Business Technology Platform later. So it's basically kind of a single point of access for all these things which are been installed. So SAP BTP has been widely used in the recent times. So you have these all things as a part of the development tools. We have SAP IDE full stack, Business Application Studio, Web IDE, and Visual Studio Code. So these are the development options that we have. So we have OData. See, basically the CDS views that we are actually building on the SAP S/4HANA business suite, which we had logged into ABAP perspective and then started building it, right? So to make them available for the Fiori, you have to add the OData services. There is something called annotations on the top of the CDS views, where you could have seen @ so @ something will be there on the top of CDS views. There we have to write @ and we have to make it OData service available. So there will be annotation that we have to write there, and once you make the annotation and activate that CDS view, it will be available for the available to be accessed from the desktop, from the HTML or whatever it might be. So here we have OData SDK, the software development kit, so which is actually being installed in the front end. Only then we can access it from this desktop or from mobile. So basically, once upon a time we had the server here, and from there we used to have the HTTP. So HTTP uniform protocol was there. Instead of HTTP uniform protocol, now they have replaced that with OData. So OData is a concept with which we can interact with the S/4HANA backend system with the front-end system. This is what we have. So this is an open data protocol. So SAP annotations. Annotations means whatever we see on the top of this CDS view where we write @ and all. So these will be actually additional information like dictionary labels and all we can do. So OData actually establishes the connectivity, and JSON object notation has to be there, which needs to be defines the data format. So data format will be based on JSON and XML in the combination of Atom publishing and Atom syndication. HTTPS is a network protocol for the communication. These are the things that we have here. So this is an Atom protocol and this is a JSON protocol. So we can either have JSON or we can also have Atom parallel. So if the Atom code looks like this and the JSON will be looking like this. So let's take an example, like we have CRUD operations, like if you want to, CRUD is create, read, update, delete. So CRUD. So create, it depends. It depends on the scenario whether you have to use JSON or Atom. So sometimes in some scenarios Atom would be better, and in some cases JSON would be better. So if you have, let's say there are two cars, like at a home they have two cars, like one is a Honda City, another is a Innova. So when they use Honda City, depends on their personal scenario. Similarly, if a client is using JSON or Atom, there might be a reason for that, but both are compatible. But most of the times you will be using JSON. But in certain scenarios where clients feels that the connectivity will be easy with Atom, they'll go with Atom. So here, if you observe this, that create option will be there. Create in the HTTP verb. So if you can see this, here we'll be having the create option here. So if you see this code carefully, we can get that actually the logic. So we have entity data model. Here we have the business partner. A business partner is required for all contact, product, sales order item, sales order. So for example, let's say there is a employee address, employee details. Employee details will be accessed by finance team. Employee access data will be accessed by HR team. So there are a lot of teams which will access the employee data. So similar to this. So we have the deep coding here, and then we have this OData provider. What exactly it will do is, OData enables us to access the data from SAP or HANA server, from the application server layer, or directly from the database. We can get the data through OData. Making use of OData, we can see the data on all these things. So if you are able to access some data from SAP into this front end, all these applications, then somewhere the OData is actually working in the background. Otherwise, you'll not be able to see the data. In some cases, the OData method, a bit of code will be auto-generated. So this is all SAP Gateway now. So Fiori application types are like transactional, analytical, and fact sheet. So if you want to get the data, you can get the data from any database or from SAP HANA database. So any database you can just see the data, but from HANA database you can actually do the analysis of data and fact sheet also. So there are a few more additions that we have. So inside the SAP Fiori, we'll have this SAP UI5 application, and just to access all these things will be there. So you can check the SAP Fiori reference library at sap.com/fiori-apps-library. You can just go and check there. Now, if you have to access the free trial, if you want to access the free trial, you can register yourself at www.sapfreetrial.ontrial.com. I'll share you the link to that. Okay, so from here we'll take it forward in the maybe in the post lunch. I'll share these details with you.